invite the chairperson.
To represent them later to you, but also thanking our partners, the Ministry of Tourism, Uganda Wildlife Education Center, UTB, UTA, and all of you, the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Works, National Planning Authority. We are so honored. I want to recognize the members that I worked with in organizing this event. Please, if you're there, please come out. The organizing committee, where are you? If you're here, please just come. Maybe this is the only moment I have we had a representative from the Ministry of Tourism, UTB, the representative from UTB, where are you? From Makerere University. If you're here, please, tourism. If you're not, maybe later on I'll be able to do it. I think it was voluntary. And the best I can do is to recognize you. I don't want to spend a lot of time. I want to go direct and invite the chairperson of our board for PCF to come and give his opening remarks. Thank you very much.
Good morning, colleagues. Please allow me to stand on the protocol that has been given by our Chief Executive, Irene. But before I proceed, let me say thank you. Let me say thank you to His Royal Highness, the King of Tolo Kingdom, Oyo Kabamba Iguru, for allowing us to have this retreat in this beautiful tourism city of Fort Portal. Tomorrow we shall be hosting probably the other way. His Excellency the President will be hosting us, and it will be a great opportunity for us to share with him the various resolutions that we think will take our tourism industry to the next level. But a while back, I was having a conversation with my brother here, Joseph Enyimo from Ministry of Finance. He's a Commissioner for Research and Development. And he mentioned one thing that is, I feel, very critical to all of us, that brand Uganda is taking a great shape and is great for this country. And let me tell you, colleagues, brand Uganda can never take shape without the tourism industry. The tourism industry will play a very important role in promoting our country, in making sure that international community sees the beauty that we have in this country, gifted by nature, and a place where we can do business, flourish, make profit, and at the same time, make sure that humanity gains. So thank you so very much. And for those of you who are not very clear on who is Presidential CEO Forum, the forum was started by His Excellency the President of Uganda as a medium where the public sector and private sector can interface, get out policy frameworks that Ministry of Finance and Economic Development implements to make sure that the economy moves forward with the National Planning Authority. And our board is composed of both private sector and public sector. The permanent secretary and secretary of treasury is a member of our board. The executive director of National Planning Authority is a member of our board. Unfortunately or fortunately, I'm from the private sector. I'm a businessman. But we're very proud that we work together and we try to advise on policy frameworks that can push our economy to the next level. We've had 5 biannual retreats, and all of them presided over by His Excellency the President. And I'm glad to say that for every retreat we've had since we started in Kyankwanzi, the resolutions have been implemented, and they play a very important role, a critical role on the development of our economy. And therefore, I have no doubt in my mind that the recommendations that will come out of this retreat will go a long way in promoting the tourism industry. Over the past months, since our last retreat 6 months ago, we took a decision that this 6th biannual retreat will focus on the tourism industry. And in this month, our teams have been convening meetings with various players and sector leaders to identify those issues that you all believe can be implemented to make the tourism industry grow and take its rightful place in the economy. And so these proposals that you gave that are actually available to all of you, they constitute a public document, will be presented to the leadership, particularly to President Museveni, and then those that we agree on implementation will be implemented by both Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and the National Planning Authority. So these proposals fix bottlenecks, any bottlenecks that hinder the development of the tourism industries. We want to see that these are removed. They crowd out investments, rather they crowd in investments, and they attract more investors and more visitors to visit, stay longer, and spend more in the country. And these recommendations have been put forward, and they are not an abstract. They actually map directly into the National Development Plan 4 and provide a ready-to-implement blueprint. And this will span from marketing, service delivery and credibility, connectivity, tax reform, financing, safety, conservation, diversification, and public-private partnerships. And so my role, dear colleagues, will be to summarize these proposals to you, but an in-depth discussion will take place today, and then the final critical resolutions will be presented to His Excellency the President tomorrow. And we also want to set a 12-month milestone and say, for all those things that we've agreed upon, how do we make sure that within the next 12 months, we can count from E to Z on the achievements that we've all agreed on. And we must lock in accountability. So colleagues, every recommendation I'll share with you comes directly from you as stakeholders. And each one has been framed in the language of delivery so that budgets, roles, timelines can immediately follow. And I will briefly go through these summary of recommendations, and they should form the basis of our conversation today. Recommendation number one, and as I told you earlier, these are just summaries. There's an entire document. I was talking to my colleagues a while back that probably we need to get paperless and have everything in a mode that is not in a paper form, but otherwise it's such a huge document that has been summarized to fit our liking. Recommendation number one was make Uganda visible where buyers decide. You, the stakeholders, asked for performance-based campaigns in priority markets. A unified Explore Uganda content pack for missions, UTB. Say, oh, this guy is a taxi. Say, oh, this guy is a taxi driver. They should be destination ambassadors to very well trained in customer service, safety, destination knowledge, code of conduct, with audits, incentives, and visible badges within the next 12 months. Recommendation number three was fix service delivery where it hurts businesses most. And this, you called for service charters and statutory turnaround times. For example, visas in less than 48 hours. And I must say, I personally travel a lot and I get many guests for business purposes. At least that area of visas is being fixed. Within a very short, when you go online for our visas, one can get a visa within a very short time. But we want to fix it to not exceed 48 hours. Then, any permits. You want these permits to be less than 10 days. This is an area that we need to address and get the necessary, not only foreign investors, but also our local investors. If my sister, Honorable Rachel Magola, decides to invest and wants a permit, really this permit should come out within less than 10 days. And that we should ensure that happens. It should be not in words only, but it should be in practice. Then a single window e-permitting system, public key performance indicators and budget releases linked to performance. This was also your ask. The team in Ministry of Finance is here, the Executive Director of National Planning Authority is here, and actually it's been a conversation, particularly with Dr. Mvawala of National Planning Authority, that we should try to link our plans and budget to speak together. It does not really make much sense to have a huge planning document and a huge budget document, and the two do not speak to each other. They should, and we should be able to tell at any one moment that this has been achieved according to budget. And this should not be a preserve of the public sector players alone. It should be available to all of us to see. Number four, you said Communicate risk and delivery with equal clarity. You recommended a single crisis information desk. That is very critical. We do not want to get crisis and then you start getting information from A, B, C, D. We must have a single crisis management desk. And this should be with paired messaging that matches every alert with verified containment readiness updates. And this will help to phase away rumor mongering. There's a lot of rumors here and there, and this should be phased off. And we know that when Irene speaks, he speaks with authority, and it's something that we all respect. Number 5, you suggested, you recommended that make our data as credible as we promise. And you asked for unique visitor reporting, not just entries, credible visitor reporting, safe harbor data, sharing with hotels, tour, transport and borders, and a monthly open data dashboard, and privacy safe visitor vouchers to track the conversation. Again, this is very critical. We should be predictable. We should be predictable. A visitor should come in our country and predict. Number 6, you recommended that you open the country with the last mile roads and simple access. It is this one, as our CEO told you, I came from Nigeria, arrived last night, and I had to drive. I got here around 1 a.m., but reaching here was, woo, oh my God. Reaching, I don't know how many of you fared when you were coming, but it was kind of a problem. So, but I don't regret this. I don't regret this because it really shows us what we must fix very fast. It shows, because Fort Portal is a tourism city. It can prime the rest of the country. And when we start doing a road should not, I never want to compare our country to other countries, because each country has its own advantages and disadvantages. But during COVID, I tell you, I went to Nairobi slightly about 2 weeks before COVID. And 2 years later, when COVID, we were allowed to travel, 2.5 years later, I found a road from the airport, Jomo Kenyatta Airport, to Westlands. That is an express highway that actually fly over within 2 years. If that can be done there, why can't we do it here? Dr. Mvoala, it does not take 5 years to fix Fort Portal Road. And get me right, I am not criticizing. I'm not criticizing. What I'm saying, let's do things bigger, better, with bigger impact. The next 5 years of our president should be years of real results. And who is going to produce these results is you, is me, is all of us. We must work together, private sector and public sector. Then you recommended that match connectivity to ambition in the air and online. You argued that IATA accreditation to Uganda Airlines, a dedicated domestic fast track at Entebbe, reliable aerodrome schedules, aggressive. And I'm so glad that my sister here from Civil Aviation is here. I'm so glad that you are here, Madam Deputy CEO. And she's my good friend. We belong to Rotary together. We do a lot of work together. You know, I hope I'm not bragging. I hope I'm not bragging. But I travel business class. Not first class. I travel business class. But our country is the only place where you travel business class and your luggage comes out last. Your luggage comes out last. Then when you've traveled, there are serious investors who come here, sometimes come with their private jets, or they come with and they expect there will be some kind of differentiation on the, but when you come here, people who, particularly our boys and girls who trade, they will run out very fast from the plane, and by the time for you who is walking like a gentle lady or a gentleman to reach the counters, the line is from there to, and you can't. Then you say, why did I pay? So honestly, Madam CEO of Civil Aviation, this does not need the president to fix. Honestly, we can fix this. Let there be first class, let there be business class, let there be economy. And economy should not be that you are punishing people in economy. No. We're not punishing them, but let this be separated and let it be clear. I can see Madam Permanent Secretary also backing me up. Madam Permanent Secretary. So, Uganda Airlines is a great blessing for us. Accreditation to IATA. Let's not leave it for Uganda Airlines alone. Let's all work together and make sure that this is achieved at the earliest. You also asked that destination destination ICT be created as essential utility with shared towers, fee concessions, and USF support. Your recommendation number 8 was treat water and power as core tourism infrastructure. You proposed corridor by corridor plans, grid extensions, solar battery mini grids, safe water systems, because 5-star experiences require 5-star utilities. Yes, we shall have a conversation on all this and see how can we do it. How can we map our budgets to ensure that it is attractive to high spenders? And before, if I could digress a bit and go back on the issue of roads, please, 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 one of the biggest things that we have in our country are these mountain gorillas in Bwindi. Bwindi, you can fly up to Kihi. I've done that several times. But from Kihi to Bwindi, which is a very short distance, can easily take you 2-3 hours. We need to get those hot spots where we think, because our gorillas, they are not available. We have 80% of them. The other countries I don't want to mention have got very few that you count on your fingers. But because they've done their roads, people tend to go there. We cannot. We've got to reverse that. We've got to reverse that, and I think it is our role as a private sector and public sector intersection to make sure that this is done as well. Recommendation number 9, reform taxes and fees so growth not friction pays the bills. In this, you asked to consolidate the 26 taxes and NTR fees into a few predictable charges for a single hospitality levy. We shall discuss this in detail. and rebase NTR to cost recovery with published logic standards and digitize to a single invoice. You went further ahead in this recommendation to suggest that we operationalize withholding tax relief with auto offsets and 14-day exemptions, calibrate VAT for SMEs CAPEX, and harmonize customs and replace account freezes with the time to pay agreements. There will be a discussion on this. Again, it makes the industry more user-friendly. Recommendation was number 10 was finance expansion with patient, affordable capital. And this you recommended capping or deferring appraisal fees to enable access to development funds, setting I suggested a 10-day pre-screen, 30 to 45-day credit decisions, and sector-appropriate collateral, blended concessional lines, partial guarantees, and a ring-fenced tourism development levy on lent via a public bank. Financing. And during our I think it was fourth retreat, we discussed the power of private equity in investments. And His Excellency the President agreed with the retreat that when an investor comes and brings in private equity, there should be no reason why at the time of exit, that investor should pay the capital gains tax. This was agreed upon and was implemented, and we thank the Minister of Finance and the National Planning Authority for making this happen. Please utilize it. Utilize it. You know, financing of investments through various ways. One of them is debt, which is the banks you're talking about. But we cannot rely on debt only as the only instrument of doing business. The second one is equity. That's up to you as an investor. How do you mobilize your equity to meet your investment needs? But there's third, which is venture capital and private equity funds, which now is free to enter the country and live with the profits untaxed. This is documented. I have personally gained from it. There is no reason why all of you cannot gain from this. Number 11 was keep visitors safe with empathy and speed. I must say that with the exception of few pockets, Uganda is one of the safest countries to visit. And for that, we thank His Excellency the President and the government of Uganda. But you propose sector-specific SOPs, nearest capable facilities, which is 24/7 hotline for these isolated cases, and discrete patrol-based trail security, strict hotel hygiene audits tied to licensing, and hospitality certification for private security. Yes, private security is good, but sometimes is abused. We need to see how this is regulated and handled. The last one, dear colleagues, is conserve and diversify to increase value and resilience. You called for scaling ranger capacity and community conservation, restoring degraded forest corridors, fast-tracking the Lake Victoria circuit, and packaging faith, culture, craft, cuisine, sports, marine. That But for the industry, some of these recommendations should be from you. Some of the things you can do without government intervention. Government is not going to come and say, oh, make your cuisine attractive to a tourist. Sure, it should be us, the sector players. There's one issue that didn't come out so clearly, but which I think is a great opportunity. How we can utilize our waters to promote tourism. I served as chairman of Uganda National Oil Company for the first 8 years. And I had the opportunity of meeting one old leader called Mohamed Mahathir. He's prime minister. He was prime minister of Malaysia at age 90, but he was such a strong man. Then as we were discussing on how our oil industry could really benefit from experiences of Malaysia, oil has really worked for Malaysia. This old leader, prime minister, just told me, but why fight for oil when you have this Lake Victoria? This Lake Victoria could be a bigger source of revenue than your oil. Can we, as sector players, try to see how we make Lake Victoria and the other lakes work for our country? The biggest single freshwater lake in the world. I occasionally go on it when with guests on a small boat and you see no activity at all. What are we doing to make sure that this biggest freshwater lake is utilized? The ball is in your court, the ball is in our court, but all I can say, let's utilize today and come out with concrete and measurable outcomes that we can present to His Excellency the President. I'm a firm believer in prayer. When I pray, I don't ask God too many things. God can even forget you. You just choose those critical ones. I'm not saying that President Museveni is God, but we should choose those critical ones where we say, if he gives us those ones, the industry will change for the better and our country will grow. May God bless your day.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, when we were hosted at Speak Resort Munyonyo for the Top Tourism Investors Dialogue, one of the issues that you've touched upon that came out quite strongly was about brand Uganda. And I would like to report to you, Chairman, and your remarks did great justice to it, that the investors were also concerned by how quickly we as Ugandans are quick to disseminate negative information, but yet so slow to talk about the brand or the information that builds a brand. And I think your remarks clearly speak to the fact that we all need to do something now, not tomorrow, immediately, in as far as getting Uganda as a tourism brand. We must move beyond, selling destinations to selling or start telling the Ugandan story. Thank you very much. And I would like at this juncture to invite the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, to give her remarks. Madam, you're welcome.
After the chairman has spoken, I am struggling to see what else I need to say. But a very good morning to you all, and a very warm welcome to Fort Potro, the tourism city, which is also my city. I don't know if you have heard about a school called the Star Empire. I am a star from the Star Empire called Chebambe Girls Secondary School. So I am happy to be back home. But it is an opportune moment for me to address you at this occasion. The protocol has really been addressed, but allow me to go through it as a way of appreciating each and everyone that is here. I will start by appreciating the chairman of the CEO Forum. Chairman, we deeply, deeply appreciate you for putting this together. Every time I spoke to Irene, she would tell me about how detailed the chairman is, how the chairman will ensure that, you know, she has talked to all these people, she has seen them face to face. He would look at the program and, you know, pay attention to every detail. And for me, I find that really incredible, especially knowing how busy you are as a businessman, but putting aside this time. So we thank you. I would like, in the same vein, to thank the chairperson of the technical team, Dr. Ruth Bienzika, for the time, for the energy, for the effort that you have put in this. We do not take it for granted. We thank you. I also want to thank the CEO. Irene, when we started, it looked like we had very short time to do this. I was actually a bit hesitant, wondering whether in the 4 months we were going to be able to pull this off, but you have pulled it off. You and your team, we appreciate you. I want to thank the teams, the different groups that participated in the meetings in Munyonyo and the different meetings that were held. The chairman has already taken us through all the recommendations. Of course, there were many more, but like he said, those few that were picked out, we could not have done it without the participation of all of you who are here and who participated in these meetings. The creatives, the tourism private sector, the different ministries and agencies. So, as Ministry of Tourism, we again appreciate you. I want to thank my colleagues from the different ministries and agencies who have come. The representative of the PSST, Commissioner Enyimu, thank you for being here. The ED, National Planning Authority, Dr. Muvawala, who also likes to emphasize the fact that he's my mentee. I'm very happy to see you here. Deputy CEO, CAA, you're most welcome. The heads of our agencies, I see the ED of Uganda Wildlife Authority. Dr. Musings, you may need to stand, considering that you are young in the office. Maybe some people don't know you. I think the CEO UTB was traveling. She's probably not here. She's also new. But I want to appreciate all of you, our staff of the Ministry of Tourism. Can you wave to the audience? Thank you all for working with the technical teams to put this together. And like the chairman has really said, those recommendations are the reason why we're here. We are here as this team now to look at what these teams did in their smaller groups, and we have the chance to present these to the highest office. What an opportunity for us. In financial year 2024-25, now I'm coming back to just give a few remarks about tourism. Uganda welcomed over 1.37 million international tourists and nearly 2.8 million domestic visitors, generating an estimated 6.3 trillion in expenditure. This growth reflects the resilience of the travel and tourism industry, the strategic investments by government in infrastructure, security, and the strong collaboration with our private sector and development partners. The Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has made significant strides in product diversification. Currently, we are working on several developments. I was just telling Joseph about what we are doing at the source of the Nile. We are doing infrastructure in the Rwenzori Mountains. We are working on our cultural heritage sites and several other things, and working on our brand as Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. We have also prioritized capacity building through our colleges, the Hotel and Tourism Training College and the Wildlife Research and Training College in Kasese. I don't know if the principals are here. I saw the principal, UWRTC Kasese. You're welcome. We recognize the challenges of inadequate infrastructure. Yesterday, I could not believe, Chairman, like you said, the state of the road. The last time I was here, that road was being worked on, so I thought it was now in a better condition. But like we have all seen, most of the things that affect tourism are actually largely outside the tourism sector itself or as a ministry. But infrastructure is one of them. And I'm glad that one of the recommendations is touching on water and electricity, because again, these are critical. And the skills gap and other things, including negative impacts of travel advisories, climate change, and so on and so forth. So as we prepare for the implementation of the fourth National Development Plan and the 10-fold growth strategy, tourism is recognized as the anchor sector for the transformation of the Ugandan economy. And we are all glad that finally we are beginning to see that government as a whole, not just the Ministry of Finance or Tourism, is recognizing the importance of this sector. So our focus will be on modernizing infrastructure, strengthening regional and international connectivity, scaling up our digital innovations, such as the Tourism Information Management System, supporting the private sector investment through all the things that have been read out to us by the chairman. I wish, once again, to extend our appreciation to the CEO Forum for prioritizing tourism in this retreat, and to call upon all stakeholders to deepen collaboration to unlock the tourism full potential. My minister will be here later, but I just want to say that all of us at the ministry, we bring you warm greetings, and we know that together we can position Uganda as a leading destination in Africa and the world. I thank you, and I wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. Right about now, in with our program, we'll be headed to have a tea break. Just before our tea break, allow me to recognize our sponsors. From Val Estates, we are honored to have a great team from Val, led by their CEO, Mr. Islam Mohammed. Thank you, sir. Please stand, and thank you very much. From Uganda Bati, the team from Uganda Bati is led by their MD, Mr. George Arodi. Thank you very much. From Post Bank, Uganda, the team, Post Bank? Nice, nice. And of course, the Uganda Tourism Board, Uganda Wildlife Authority, led by the ED, thank you very much, who will also be moderating the first panel. MTN Uganda, Crown Beverages, Nile Breweries, SAMS, the Grow Project, led by Dr. Tembo Steels, and a number of other distinguished sponsors. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to invite you to have some tea as we prepare for our first panel. Thank you very much. 15-minute tea break.